What's up, you fucking cunts? Make sure to subscribe to watch us collab with famous celebrities like Justin Bieber, Travis Scott, and Drake. So subscribe. Fucking subscribe.
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Another day, another video. For today's video, we have strangers rank their intelligence. I mean, if I were them, I would put myself number one, man.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into another episode of Rank. Before we get into our show, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Grammar.
Hey, no, I ain't sponsored yet. I ain't shouting out no, man.
Like, we'll never get in here. And then I went to Yale.
Okay. They look like a good bunch of people.
Should we just like go down and do
intros?
Yeah, I'm Sade, I'm 24. I work in finance. I have a bachelor's degree. I went to Yale.
I'm Tyler. I'm 21. I'm a high school graduate, and I work in the Marine Corps.
I'm Kaylee.
Tyler,
I'm 25. I'm a software developer. I went to Ohio University,
fine.
and I have a bachelor's degree.
Maria, I'm 30 years old. I have my PhD in cancer biology and I work in the biotech industry. Grad school, I went to University of South Carolina, and undergrad, I went to University of Florida.
Hi everybody, my name is Sean. I'm 27. I'm the director of social media for a company, and I also work for a digital ad agency. I got a double major in dance and cultural anthropology. Undergrad, I went to the Loyola
Okay,
Marymount
so these
University.
people know what
I'm
they're
William
doing.
Ray. I'm 24. I
Yeah,
graduated
he's
with a
smart.
bachelor's degree in Harvard recently, and I work in consulting.
Oh, you're babies.
And if you work at
I know, that's what I was saying, is age a factor?
Yeah, it gives you like years of experience.
Yeah,
in
like
life.
this,
We need to, maybe it's good to identify what intelligence means to everybody.
I think intelligence is better defined as your adaptability and your problem-solving skills more than it is your education. Obviously, like the education, the stuff you've been through puts a lot into play in it because it gives you more resources, more thoughts to draw from. The formal education definitely helps, but I don't think it's in any way essential.
So what is the most essential?
So the most essential thing
Tyler
is probably
knows what
common
he's
sense.
talking about,
Yeah, so
man.
for me personally, I think intelligence is both EQ, IQ, and that common sense, street smart intelligence, all of that combined.
People, consciously or unconsciously, when they see someone, form an opinion immediately. Like, I'm sure we all did right away.
When I saw you, I told myself, Maria, do not judge him just by his looks. He could be throwing you off, or that's just who he is, but he can talk the talk and walk the walk. Sean, I didn't want to judge
Yo,
him
how
based
you-
on the way
how
he
you
looks or
assuming
dresses or
his gender,
acts,
man?
so I was like, I think he's intelligent.
First impressions, I would put him at the bottom only because when I was in school, all the other people with like the bright neon colors and stuff, they were typically the ones doing worse in classes. If we were ranking confidence, I'd definitely put
Wow.
Sean at very first place.
So what is the definition that we're going with is the biggest question.
I like your definition.
I know, I was gonna say, I like my definition. It combines everything.
Does anyone have any like initial?
You can be honest.
Start on that side. I'm done going first.
I feel like I have a good combination of both, like book smart and street smart. So yeah, I think I have some input on that. There's so many aspects to intelligence. It really goes beyond IQ and EQ. Even those two different factors don't really capture what it really means to be intelligent.
I know I'm not, from Yale, I don't have a PhD, but what I lack in those areas, I'm able to still problem solve and use my own skill set, my emotional intelligence as well as my social intelligence.
Besides my
Nice.
education and background, I feel like I have high like emotional intelligence, like I'm aware of my surroundings.
As a software developer, my problem-solving skills are obviously top-notch, I think I would say. My whole life, I've kind of had to fight
They're
to be
just
seen as
flexing,
intelligent. Like,
yo.
I'm so used to having to do that as a woman, to just like step up and be like, I deserve to be here. My first job out of college, I was working at a law firm. A gentleman came up to me and said, "Hi, you don't look like somebody that would work at a law firm. You look like somebody I'd go on spring break with." And I'm like, what? I'm like,
Obviously, out of everyone here, I've got the least formal education. I consider myself intelligent. My mental dedication and my ability to adapt and to problem solve. What I do in the Marine Corps, I'm a cyber defense
shit.
specialist. So I think that by virtue of what I do, that already requires some amount of intelligence.
So, like,
Sorry, quick
when
question.
you're this-
So do you think that only certain people can do your job, or do you think anyone can do your job?
Only certain people. You have to take the ASVAB
What
before
a
you go
guy,
into the military.
man.
That's not really how much you know, but how well you can learn information. And I got a 94 on that. It's not an amount of how much you study, how much you know. You're not going to really get better at learning. Does that make sense?
I strongly disagree with you don't get better at learning. The idea that you can get better at learning is a pretty big signifier of intelligence. I'm very much dyslexic. I have ADHD and I'm on the autism spectrum. Dyslexia means that there's a big gap in comprehension. So I was scoring 99th percentile in certain areas and like 3rd percentile in others. I'll never be able to learn another language. I took Spanish for 12 years and I can still basically only order a burrito.
So I have a question. Why did you go to Yale and why did you go to Harvard?
My parents are immigrants from China, and I'm a first generation immigrant as well, and college student as well. My family always really stressed the importance of formal education. For me, that was something that I really strived for.
I wasn't planning to go to college. That wasn't like a goal of mine. My parents were like, well, you should apply to at least one college. And I was like, we'll never get in here. And then I went to Yale.
Wow.
Why don't you guys rank each other from 1 to 6, including yourself, and give reasons why you want to do what you're doing?
I gotta go 1.
No.
Oh yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, don't do my
I
man
would
Taylor like
rank you
that.
as a 6, not meaning that you're not intelligent. I also think that I don't place a lot of value on the military.
Wow.
Period.
No, full stop.
I'd probably do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry.
I'm the villain this episode.
Does anyone think they're like either in?
Taylor, no.
I'd say I'm 1, if nothing else, because
Ah.
I know what I'm about.
Oh no, it's not Taylor,
Wait,
it's
you guys have to rank
Tyler.
everyone too. That is so unfair. No.
I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh.
Sorry.
Shit,
It's
man.
hard
Tyler is
for me
getting
to look past
fuck all.
the education part. Going to college, I think you learn a lot, if nothing else emotionally. But I still think you're smart.
Thank you.
Sorry.
1, 2, 3,
He's
4,
coming last
5,
again.
6.
Yeah.
1, immigrant parents, first generation going to college, humble, modest. 2, me, I don't know, PhD, cancer biology scientist. I work in a biotech company. We make COVID-19 testing kits, stuff like that. And then 6. It has nothing to do with your background. I don't think you really have the highest EQ out of all of us. Tyler, he ranked last for me personally because the way he carries himself. He was ranking intelligence based on his point of view and not
Tyler is
taking
the
in
main
other
guy
people's
for
point
this
of
video,
views
you know,
and
you better
compiling
respect him.
results. But really just came down to his body language, his demeanor, the way he carried himself, the way he acted towards the group.
I would put 1, 2,
Oh, don't put Tyler last.
3,
No.
4,
No.
5, and out 6.
Oh.
So the reason why I put you at number 1 is I think you have the highest not only EQ score out of everybody, but the way you present yourself, as well as being a PhD student, I think is just like a huge thing. But I put myself 6 because I feel like I might be the weakest in terms of actual IQ score. Hopefully I can make it up for everything else. So I did put myself as least intelligent. However, if it can't be me, I definitely think Tyler, unfortunately, his way of thinking is linear. And I think intelligence is almost
Oh,
like a
I don't know
sphere.
what
It's a
half of
picture.
these
And right
words
now he's
are,
more
man.
coloring with one color than, with the rainbow.
So who got the most number 1s? Thank you. Move down.
Who got the most?
Shanae was
like
pretty
you.
up there too.
I feel like you were definitely 3, right?
Tyler, go to
you were
6.
Yeah.
man. Tyler is
I think that I
fuming, bro.
sort of expected to be ranked a little bit lower. At first glance and first interaction with me, it's hard to tell how intelligent I am. It's hard to tell how intelligent anybody is.
Is anyone upset with where they're standing?
I think it makes sense that I'm down here. Like the guy who graduated from high school and then joined the military, he probably wouldn't be like high up on there. If I was in their shoes, I definitely would have also ranked myself among the lowest.
I do feel like there might be.
Bro,
a
why is he
bias
talking
acting
like an
in terms of
alien, man?
ranking you
Okay, I was thinking that
highly,
too.
but I agree with the ranking. I think you probably are the most intelligent out of all of us. I would feel weird placing you there and not acknowledging the dynamics in which we did so.
Okay. Okay.
Here's Hearing that I had to take an IQ test was definitely hard to hear. Quantifying things for me in that realm is really hard because it gives you something really solid. Even if you don't buy into IQ tests, it still gives you a number at the end of the day, which is something you have to grapple with.
I literally thought when you said to open the computer or we're going to look at social media, that I didn't think an IQ test would be part of it.
It was kind of expected. We're being ranked by intelligence, an IQ test. It's not that far out the realm of possibility.
So number 1 is Raymond. Number 2 would be Kaylee. Number 3 will be Tyler. And number 4 would be Shayna. Number 5 is Sean, and number 6 is Maria.
Ooh. Interesting.
I think an IQ test tests something. I don't think it's intelligence. It's definitely testing something. IQ tests are now known to be flawed and based on incorrect sample sizes. I have really severe dyslexia. There's 2 questions on that test that I automatically basically can't answer.
I'm sure if you studied for an IQ test, you would do a lot better. IQ tests are just one aspect or one way to measure intelligence. It's really on a spectrum what constitutes somebody as intelligent.
Before this, all I knew about IQ tests is that they existed, and the I stands for intelligence. I've never looked into IQ tests before. Coming here today, them saying the EQ, that was the first time I've ever heard that term in my life.
Coming back to intelligence, it's not just your IQ, it's your EQ, it's your common sense, it's street smarts. Sure, it is some type of metric similar to an SAT and ACT score is a metric for getting into college, but there's more to that person than that test.
I'm actually excited I wasn't last because I thought I was going to be last, not going to lie. I think an IQ test is a good indicator to see how people handle pressure, but I think that's easier to make sense in our heads that, oh, you're smart and you're not smart.
Definitely don't think it's the best metric. I've been exposed to tests like these probably more than most people here. That already gives me an unfair advantage.
This is my villain redemption arc from climbing up the ladder.
Hey, I had no clue what was going on the whole video. I'm dumb as hell, so please